Coming up, no backpacks allowed in Manatee County schools, what the district is doing to help keep students safe. Plus, why a school board member is now questioning Manatee County Superintendent Diana Green's contract. And breaking ground on a new parking garage on St. Armand's Circle when crews expect to finish that massive project. Your Suncoast News starts now.
You're watching ABC7 News at noon.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. Rain is the big story today, and a lot of it expected throughout the week here on the Suncoast and especially over the weekend. Let's get right to meteorologist John Scalzi with our first alert forecast. John?
Yeah, that's the big question, is how much rain we get this weekend. And frankly, to be honest with you, there are still some big questions and uncertainties in that, exactly how much rain we're going to get. For sure, we aren't going to get as much rain today because some drier air has kind of filtered in, so a little chance to dry out, which is a good thing. It'd be great if we could get a couple days in a row of very little rainfall so that the saturated ground can kind of absorb and some of that moisture will percolate down and leave us with a little bit of a shallow layer of drier soil at the surface, just in case we do get some heavier weekend rain. Quiet radar right now. Don't expect to see a whole lot across our state today. We do have some showers down to the south, of course, and out in the Atlantic. These showers are part of that river of air, that atmospheric river that had been giving us all that heavy rainfall. Well, it's shifted a little bit further to the east today, thanks to those stronger upper level winds that have been inhibiting the growth of our 90L invest down in the Caribbean. So a little bit of drier air is filtered in, and that's allowed us a little bit of a break from the rain shower chances. What's different today? Well, 90L seems to have an explosion of convection closer to a general area of low pressure, so it looks a little healthier at this hour. Still no development that would classify it as a depression, but it is forecast still to lift to the north, now given a 60% chance as of 8 a.m. this morning of development over a 5-day period. Still some differences in computer models as to where it will end up and what strength it will end up. But this system, as it lifts north, is sure to just infuse parts of the deep south with some heavy rainfall and perhaps lead to some localized flooding. These are the temperatures across the region. As you can see, we're going to be warmer today because of that little bit of extra sunshine that we're going to get. We'll show you the spaghetti models and the rainfall forecasts for different scenarios coming up in just a few. Back to you, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. Words of caution from Governor Rick Scott. He's urging Floridians to prepare for some significant rainfall and possible flooding this weekend. Governor Scott also directing Florida Fish and Wildlife to prepare the agency's high water vehicles and other flood response resources for deployment if it is needed. Well, the project many hope will solve the parking issues on St. Armand's Circle now officially underway. A groundbreaking ceremony happening just moments ago on a new parking garage. ABC7's Ray Collins joins us live from St. Armand's with the story today. Ray?
Scott, how many times have we driven out here to St. Armand's and driven around the circle and can't find parking? Finally, after years of talking about it today, ground was broken on this parking lot behind me. This is the quadrant behind the Columbia restaurant. We've got some video to show you of this morning's ceremonies, as well as some shots of the artist rendering of the completion. We had city commissioners and engineers all out this morning having the ceremonial groundbreaking. This will be 4 levels, 503 parking spots, $15 million, and be done in December. I talked to the city parking director. He agrees this thing is long overdue.
Adding more than 300 parking spaces to the circle proper allows for people to come out, visit without having to hunt for parking out on the street, which is really a challenge. Many people get lost in the circle, and so we'll have signage that will direct people right into the parking garage. It'll be very easy for them to park. We'll have wayfinding signs within the garage that will guide them to open parking areas, and we think it's going to be very convenient. Yeah, I know.
And a lot of shoppers and merchants think so as well. Work is underway once again as we speak. Now, this won't be free for users, by the way. Here is the money you need to set aside, Scott, 50 cents per hour to park in the garage. And now the circle is going to add meters as well, as high as $1.50 an hour to park in the circle, or $1 from some side parking. So things are changing. More money to park, but you might find more parking once they add 500 spots behind me come December. Live in St. Armand's, I'm Ray Collins. Scott, back to you in the studio.
All right, Ray, thank you so much. The Manatee County Sheriff's Office is trying to figure out how a 16-year-old student brought a loaded gun onto the campus of Bayshore High School. Students told staff at the school Tuesday that a 10th grader was armed with that gun. Resource deputies were alerted and found the boy with a loaded handgun tucked into his waistband. The teen is now facing charges of possession of a firearm on school grounds and carrying a concealed firearm. And because of that incident, Bayshore High School students could not bring backpacks to school today. And starting tomorrow, all middle and high schools in Manatee County are banning backpacks on school campuses. With only 3 days left of school after today, parents are reminded to talk to their children about the serious consequences of making threats against their school. And in the wake of the Santa Fe school shooting in Texas, the second of 3 roundtable discussions on school safety is set for later today in Austin. Reporter Jim Rowbottom explains how the session will focus on gun regulations, mental health, and the causes of gun violence.
The first session at the state capitol Tuesday focused on school and community safety. It included school administrators, politicians, law enforcement officials, and an architect with expertise on school design. Texas Governor Greg Abbott said they discussed ideas including enlarging the school marshal program, hiring more school counselors, installing more metal detectors, and increasing parental accountability.
Parents are partly responsible for this, and they need to be held accountable for it.
The discussions were prompted by the killing of 10 people at Santa Fe High School last week. Authorities say a 17-year-old student walked into school with a shotgun and a pistol and killed 8 students and 2 teachers. As leaders began discussing solutions, students returned for their belongings.
It felt weird, empty, because every single door's open.
Meanwhile, the remains of one of the victims, a 17-year-old exchange student, arrived in her native Pakistan. Houston Astros players are among those honoring the victims. Players wore shirts before their game Tuesday that declared, "We play for Santa Fe." And the owner of the Houston Rockets is giving every member of the school senior class free tickets to a conference championship basketball game in Houston on Thursday. I'm Jim Rowbottom reporting.
Here in the Suncoast, Manatee County schools are considering a new security plan with money in short supply. The district is now looking to put school safety guardians in elementary schools instead of school resource officers beginning in the fall. The decision comes after county commissioners voted against providing extra funding for school security. Guardians are not members of law enforcement, but they are armed and cannot make arrests. The district is hoping the program will be funded by the state through the Aaron Feist Guardian Program, which is named after the football coach that died during the Parkland shooting.
They will be our employee. The sheriff office is also giving us 2 of their officers to assist on the interview team. And so we'll be able to weed out individuals that they are keen on as far as officers that they would normally select too.
If approved, guardians will complete at least 140 hours of training through the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. School resource officers should remain in all middle and high schools next year. And tonight, Sarasota County Public Schools are hosting a digital town hall to discuss school safety as well as mental and behavioral health issues. Parents will be able to stream it live on Facebook, the Education Channel, and the Sarasota County School website and ask panelists questions directly. It starts at 7 tonight and will run for an hour until 8. For more on the latest breaking news across the area, as well as the Suncoast, go to our apps. You can go to get our First Alert weather forecast and all the headlines from the area. Go to your app store, look for WWSB or My Suncoast. New at noon, the Manatee County Superintendent's contract is now in question, just as she prepares to leave the district for Duval County Schools. One board member is claiming Diana Green is breaking her contract. ABC7's Stephanie Webb joins us now to explain the board member's claim. Stephanie?
Thanks, Scott. Board member Dave Miner and Superintendent Dr. Diana Green went head-to-head at a recent school board meeting about whether or not a superintendent is allowed to leave the district without serving the time she agreed to in her contract. Now, Miner claims that Dr. Green has contractual obligations to the district, but she's arguing she can't be bought. According to the district, there's a missing clause in Dr. Green's contract that would allow her to opt out of fulfilling her 4-year contract with the district as long as she gave a 30-day notice. Board Attorney Jim Dye called that clause an error at the meeting yesterday. Dr. Green says that when she last looked at the contract, the 30-day clause was in there. Miner is now suggesting some type of penalty for Green breaking the contract.
As board members, we wish her well. We think she'd do a great job up there. At the same time, we
responsibility
have a duty to our community, to this district.
It is being stated as if I have been bought and I'm owned by someone, which is a little disconcerting.
Now, the other school board members agreed with Dr. Green, thanking her for her service and saying they don't want to fight over her exit. Dr. Green told the board that contract aside, they are going to need a new superintendent on July 1st. Scott?
All right, Stephanie, thank you so much. Manatee County Sheriff's deputies are looking for 4 people involved in an armed robbery. It happened at the Cosmo Joe's Arcade in West Bradenton. The thieves took money before running off. 2 of them were caught on camera. The sheriff's office says at least 1 of them was armed. If you recognize the suspects, call Manatee County Crime Stoppers at 866-634-TIPS. Some Sarasota neighborhoods are a little darker at night because of a street light outage. Some of the decorative street lights along Central Coconut Avenue and the Rosemary District, along with the Gillespie Park neighborhood, are experiencing temporary power outages. City officials say power is expected to be restored later this week. Still to come in your Suncoast News, how you can make sure you keep your eyes healthy for better vision. And a man loses a court battle with his own parents, why he's now looking for a new place to live.
Selfless service is the principle that guides Army National Guard soldiers to be ready whenever disaster strikes. They have a stake in the well-being of the neighborhoods where they live and work. They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times. Selfless service. It's what inspires the men and women of the Army National Guard to be part of something greater than themselves. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do-it-yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help. With Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sunny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Get more for your money at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Subaru vehicles hold their value better than any other brand for 2018, according to ALG. And Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's most trusted brand for 4 years running. The Subaru Outback is an IIHS top safety pick for 10 years running. Lease a new Subaru Outback today for just $249 a month. Or get 0% financing with 0 down. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Keep up with the Suncoast. Watch your favorite ABC7 shows on your streaming device.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Now your ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Feeling a little bit more like summertime today. We've got those chance of afternoon showers, maybe a few thunderstorms. But generally speaking, less rainfall coverage than we've seen over the last couple of days, and consequently warmer temperatures. Up near 88 for a daytime high this afternoon, and I think it's going to have a real muggy feel to the air when we top out that 40% chance of showers. Actually, the showers this afternoon might be a welcome relief to break some of the heat. As we head into the evening, our rain chances will go down pretty quickly, and you wake up tomorrow morning with maybe a 20% chance of a lingering shower or two. Right now, everything's very quiet on radar. Haven't seen that in a while. So let's talk about this system. It's still down in the Caribbean. It has not formed anything that approaches a depression yet, but it has seen an explosion of convection and thunderstorm activity down there. The center of the circulation is still pretty far removed from the thunderstorm activity, and we need to see that get a little bit commingled before we start to see any kind of development with this system. The center of circulation is actually pretty close to the Yucatan, so that's obviously inhibiting some of its development as well. And the whole thing thing has to lift north, kind of skirting the Yucatan, so that could be a problem for it as it lifts out into the open waters of the Gulf. The Hurricane Center, as of this morning at 8 o'clock, gives it a 60% chance of developing over 5 days. And I don't really think that will start to happen till we get to the end of that 5-day period, day 4, day 5, up to around maybe Saturday or Sunday. We might see some slow strengthening, but it's going to be very slow. So what do we expect? Well, the computer model forecasts continue to lift the system north into the central Gulf and then eventually to the eastern Gulf or to the central Gulf. One thing I've noticed, some of the computer models have kind of shifted, I think, a little bit further to the east. We still have some that are forecasting eventual Florida landfall in the southern tip of the state. You see this one line that takes it right over Sarasota. Don't be too concerned about that one. It's a statistical model, which is based on climatology of the past and less actually on what's actually going on in the atmosphere right now. This is the American model, which again shows it kind of skirting South Florida and then moving up toward the Carolinas. And then the cluster of storms computer models that you see right here, this cluster, is all the rest of the models, which tend to be pretty aggressive in supporting anywhere from the panhandle of Florida back toward Louisiana Delta forecast. Now, here are the rainfall forecasts based on each of those models. The one that hits South Florida, we might get a little bit more wind, we might get a little higher surf, but we get less rainfall, coming in at 1 to 2 inches over a 3-day period, while South Florida really gets a lot of rain. Eventually, the system moves into the Atlantic and curves back toward the Carolinas, where they get rainfall. That's a computer model that I have less confidence in. The one I have more confidence in is the American computer model, which tends to show the rainfall. If I could advance the computer, there we go, showing the showers heavier along our coastline, coming in with maybe 4-inch rainfalls over a 3-day period. We could still handle that. But the heaviest of the rain occurring in the northern Gulf Coast into Georgia and Alabama, where they could actually see some flooding because their soil types just don't handle that kind of rainfall as well as Florida soil types do. So we are still kind of evaluating this, and with time, as soon as we see a system actually form, then we can have some better computer model guidance into where we think it'll eventually go. Southeast winds shifting to southwest, light chop, 2-foot seas. Decent day for boating out there, but watch those boating forecasts over the weekend. Here you go, 40% chance today, 60% tomorrow, maybe some heavier rain around as we head into the weekend. We'll be watching the tropics carefully on Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday, we'll call them first alert weather days for the potential of those heavy rains, which could lead to ponding of water on roadways, some low-lying flooding, perhaps if we get the heavier rains, and that could carry on into Monday and into Tuesday. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. In Health Smart, May is Healthy Vision Month. Kim Hutcherson has some tips on how to protect your eyesight and overall eye health.
Vision problems are among the top disabilities for American adults, according to the CDC. Some 61 million people across the country are at risk for serious vision loss, the agency says, but only half that number have visited an eye doctor in the past year. But if they're diagnosed and treated early, many eye problems can be prevented. So the CDC and the NIH have designated May as Healthy Vision Month, a time to prioritize eye health. The most important thing you can do to safeguard your vision is have a comprehensive, dilated eye exam every year. Know your family's eye health history and talk to your optometrist about it. A diet rich in fruits and vegetables can also help. Everybody knows carrots are good for your eyes, but dark leafy greens are too. Maintain a healthy weight, avoid cigarettes, and protect your eyes when out in the sun or when playing sports. The CDC also recommends you give your eyes a break periodically, especially if you spend a lot of time focused on any one thing. Try the 20-20-20 rule. For every 20 minutes spent staring at a computer, look at a spot about 20 feet in front of you for 20 seconds. For today's Health Minute, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
Time now for lunch, so let's head over to the kitchen and say hello to ABC7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher. Hi, Judy.
Hi there, Scott. Well, with probably more rain on the way, I decided it's going to be a really fun weekend to do a lot of cooking and baking. Sure, we might not be having hamburgers and potato salad, but there's plenty of varieties that we can do. So today is one of the dishes I'll probably make on Saturday, then I'll do something different for Sunday, and of course then for Monday. We're going to make seasoned lamb meatballs that we're just going to press into a skewer. We'll be able to grill them off with some rice pilaf. Rice pilaf is having its moment. It's coming back. And we'll bring it together with some feta cheese and olives. It's going to be delicious and a little heartier. I think we'll need it for all that rain that might be coming this way.
If you don't want to fall immediately into love, look away. If you don't want to awaken a desire for excellence, look away. If you don't want to be seduced, please look away.
Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $15 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand with no surprises and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service 4 times in a row. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 800-457-2317. Go online or visit a Target store today.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I'll be right back. Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, restaurant guide, and more. Go to mysuncoast.com/dining.
Living at home with his mom and dad. They want him out, even taking him to court over it. And now a New York judge has ordered him to leave. ABC's Gio Benitez spoke with the man about where he may go next.
30-year-old Michael Rotondo is speaking out hours after a New York judge ordered him to move out of his parents' home where he's lived rent-free for the past 8 years.
You're going to make it so that these people can just throw me out instead of, letting me stay, because I'm not bothering them living here.
These are the people now suing Rotondo, his very own parents, trying to evict him from their home. On Tuesday, Rotondo, acting as his own attorney, appearing in New York Supreme Court, claiming that his parents, seen here listening in court, should have given him 6 months to find alternate housing, a point the judge called outrageous.
I'm not a burden to them in the home. They don't provide laundry or food. It's really a moot point for them to seek me to be ejected.
In court documents, Mark and Christina Rotondo say they tried for months to get their unemployed son to move out, sending him these 5 letters asking him to leave and giving him $1,100 so he could find a place to stay. And one of the things that they mention in that letter, in several of those letters, is we want you to go and get a job.
Right.
Have you done that?
No, I have. I got a business that I get income from, and I'm expecting that I will be able to. Overwhelmingly, I can't imagine I'm going to be here past 3 months.
He says his parents asked him to move after he lost custody of his son 8 months ago, when he says he needed them most.
After you lose your son, and then shortly afterwards, it's like, hey, I lost your son, and get out of the house. I was devastated when I lost my son. There's these people who are considering that I just want to stay here forever. I just don't want to pay rent. No, I don't like living here at all.
And believe it or not, he still doesn't know when he has to move out. The judge has to decide that. But you know, we saw how they didn't speak to each other in court, so I wondered, do they speak to each other at home? He says, not at all. Gio Benitez, ABC News, Syracuse, New York.
Well, Best Buy says Rotondo sued them for more than $300,000 in 2017 for firing him after he refused to work on Saturdays. That case is still pending. Over to the kitchen again. Let's check in again with Judy with delicious lamb skewers.
That's right, and I don't want to invite him over. He may never leave my dinner table. So what we're going to do is we're going to take ground lamb. Often you can find it already at the butcher area, but my suggestion is to call a few days ahead of time if you want the lamb ground up from Whole Foods. You can also buy already prepared, they're not cooked yet, the lamb meatballs if you want to save some time. Now I'm just going to show you the homemade way because I think it's just fantastic. We're going to take some Moroccan seasoning, just a little bit of ground nutmeg. We have some let's see, what else do we have in here? We have some cumin, a little bit of allspice, some salt and pepper, some minced olives. We're going to add, we have the flat leaf parsley, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add some mint to this, and we're going to start to bind this. And in a few minutes after it's mixed in well, I'm going to add some diced feta cheese. Now it comes in a large container in a cube in the brine. Best way to use the feta. Don't buy it already crumbled up because the air has gotten into it. It's not going to taste as strong. So I'm going to put some more garlic in there. There we go. So what we do when we have everything combined, onion, parsley, seasoning, and usually just you can get the aroma of all those good seasonings to decide how spicy you want it. So while I start to shape this to go in the skewers and get some more on, we'll get the rice pilaf ready to add those ingredients as well. It's going to be a Greek fiesta, rain or shine this week.
You want a Maserati, but you need an SUV. Why not have both? Levante, the Maserati of SUVs.
Experience it at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
To be able to just get my son here and not think about how we will pay for it, it just takes so much weight off of my family. St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
Imagine a world filled with pillow fights, playgrounds, and the search for the perfect climbing tree. Every kid deserves that world, but 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger. At No Kid Hungry, we're committed to creating a world where every kid eats healthy food every day. We raise funds, we help families, and we lift up communities.
We are problem solvers striving for answers. Relevancy on every platform. We are driven to create content that's compelling, engaging, where it matters. We are neighbors that care about solutions, believers in making a difference, leaders, innovating in an exciting era of multimedia, reaching to always be the gold standard in our evolving landscape. We are Raycom Media. Find your opportunity today.
Many websites selling medication may look professional and legitimate, but the vast majority of sites selling prescription drugs are doing so illegally. Criminals use websites to sell counterfeit medications that may contain life-threatening toxins. Dot Pharmacy is a website verification program that helps you identify safe and trustworthy online pharmacies. Purchasing medicine online can be safe and easy. Just look for pharmacy to the right of the dot in website addresses.
Each day, researchers make discoveries that bring us closer to the moment when all cancer patients can become survivors. Their progress is made possible with the help of clinical trials. Clinical trials are the brightest torch researchers have to light their way towards better treatments. And if you've been diagnosed with cancer, they may be your brightest ray of hope. Speak with your doctor and visit standuptocancer.org/clinical trials to learn more. Together, we can stand up for all of us.
The county needs it and the school needs it.
The owner of a popular Manatee County restaurant chain testified today in Washington before a House subcommittee. Plus, a search for a cruise ship passenger in the Gulf of Mexico, where the Coast Guard is concentrating its search for the man. And the new effort in Sarasota to help homeowners install solar panels on their roofs.
You're watching ABC7 News at 12:30.
Welcome back. Our top story continues to be the wet weather heading our way this weekend. Let's get to meteorologist John Scalzi with your first alert forecast. John?
Yeah, and that is actually the big question, Scott. It's just how much wet weather we get. I have a feeling that these blue skies that we see on our Lakewood Ranch webcam and a few fair weather clouds that have moved in the last few frames will be nothing like what we see as we head into the weekend. I think what we'll see eventually is some waves of rainfall coming through most of the day on Saturday and Sunday, kind of leading to a, well, somewhat of a bust for any kind of outdoor activity. I think it'll be kind of a rain out over the course of the weekend. The big question is how much rain we get, though, and whether that will lead to any flooding problems, and that's still kind of up in the air depending on the intensity and track of what may or frankly may not develop down in the Caribbean. We have right now pretty quiet conditions on radar, and we have the plume, that river of atmospheric moisture that was over the state of Florida, kind of pushed a little bit further to the east today, reducing our rainfall chances as some drier air begins to filter in. We, of course, continue to monitor this area down to the south for any development. So far, it's showing none, and in fact, it's looking kind of pathetic at this hour. We do have some explosions of thunderstorm activity, but the kind of center of broad circulation is really being influenced, I think, by the Yucatan, and some dry air kind of floating right off it, plus some strong upper level winds really just pushing that shower and thunderstorm activity away. The question is, will it emerge intact as it lifts north into the Gulf? And if it does, then the Hurricane Center, I think, will give this a pretty good chance, is giving this a pretty good chance of development with time. Temperatures today, because of all the drier air in place and the plentiful amounts of sunshine, will rise into the upper 80s today. I think we're at 84 degrees in Sarasota, 84 in Bradenton, and our rain chance today comes in at about 40%. We'll have the complete forecast in just a few minutes. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. An afternoon storm in Sarasota quickly turned a construction accident into a rescue operation. Sarasota County's fire chief says crews were installing a large pipe at US 41 and 10th Street when that pipe slipped. That's when one of the workers fell into the 6-foot deep hole. First responders rushed to the rescue, but with rain falling, water started filling up that hole. Firefighters had to use harnesses and ropes, but they were able to get him out. He was taken to the hospital where he was later released after being treated for just some minor injuries. In Washington, new developments on the Russia investigation as President Trump fires off tweets alleging the Department of Justice conspired to help Hillary Clinton win the election. ABC's Tara Palmieri explains from the nation's capital.
President Trump pushing a major conspiracy theory without providing any evidence that the Department of Justice is out to get him.
A lot of people are saying they had spies in my campaign.
Even branding it Spygate. Tweeting, Spygate could be one of the biggest political scandals in history. The president has been fixated on claims that the FBI spied on his campaign since the New York Times reported last week that the FBI sent a confidential informant to gather more information about Trump campaign advisors about their contacts with Russians ahead of the election. The FBI will not confirm or deny if it used the suspected informant. So far, there is no evidence that one was embedded in the Trump campaign.
They were spying on a term I don't particularly like, but on what the Russians were doing.
But the president's fury prompted a demand to have the Department of Justice investigate the matter. The Inspector General's office has expanded an ongoing investigation to include whether the Bureau was improperly targeting the Trump campaign. The DOJ is set to turn over some classified documents to GOP congressional leaders tomorrow.
If they had spies in my campaign, that would be a disgrace to this country.
But before any evidence comes to light, the president tweeting out unsubstantiated claims as facts. Like this tweet, the spy was there early in the campaign and yet never reported collusion with Russia because there was no collusion. he was only there to spy for political reasons and to help crooked Hillary win, even referring to the Justice Department as, quote, the criminal deep state. Former FBI Director James Comey is firing back, saying the FBI's use of informants is very tightly regulated and essential for protecting the country. He tweeted, quote, facts matter, adding, quote, attacks on the FBI and lying about its work will do lasting damage to our country. Tara Palmieri, ABC News, the White House.
Happening today, the owner of a Manatee County chain of restaurants testifying on Capitol Hill. John Horn, the owner of 4 Anna Maria Oyster Bar restaurants, talking to a House Ways and Means subcommittee this morning. Congressman Vern Buchanan inviting Horn to testify how the new tax cut has allowed him to buy new equipment and award bonuses to workers. Happening across the state, the search continues today for a man who fell overboard a cruise ship in the Gulf of Mexico. He's been identified as 50-year-old Brian Lamons from Greensboro, North Carolina. The Coast Guard says it received a call Tuesday morning that it disappeared from the Carnival Paradise about 85 miles west of Fort Myers. Carnival officials say they are providing support for the man's family and cooperating with the Coast Guard in that search. Construction on a 911 radio tower along Prospect Road in Manatee County has come to a stop, at least for now. People living near that site have been against it from the beginning, saying they did not find out about it until after the fact. And it's on land owned by Manatee County. Some people claim the project was labeled as recreational use and not for a 911 emergency tower, which would have required public meetings for its approval.
We got a notice in the mail of a flyer a few weeks ago, and it said, oh, by the way, we're building a 185-foot tower right down at this address, right down on Prospect Road. And that was the first we heard of it.
We're trying to make sure that they really did look at options and would really like the tower to be moved and not be across from the church and across from the school and across from our homes.
Manatee County says the site was approved by both Manatee and Sarasota County Commissions with unanimous votes, and that it will help improve cell and public safety phone coverage near University Parkway. New at noon, Sarasota County is kicking off its second sponsored solar co-op. Representatives from the city, the League of Women Voters, and Mote Marine Lab were there to push for more solar energy being utilized in local homes. The city says they're happy to be a part of such an important initiative that allows groups of homeowners to install solar panels at lower prices.
And this co-op is going to be one of those powerful options to let the community know that this is out there, that with this collective power, that they too can participate in solar.
It allows homeowners to find out more about solar, ask questions, and then pool their buying power so that the cost of going solar is a lot less expensive than going on your own. The same media contact.
Organizers say Sarasota has agreed to run 100% on solar and renewable energy sources by the year 2045. And they hope co-ops like this one will help that mission actually happen. Manatee County has finalized the purchase of the Johnson Preserve at Braden River for nearly $2 million. Over the past 6 months, volunteers, donors, private foundations, and Manatee County commissioners have worked to find a way to buy the land, which was slated for development. The 44.5-acre preserve is on the Braden River east of I-75 and is home to a diverse group of plants and animals. The Conservation Foundation raised $1.3 million towards the overall $3 million purchase, and the county funded the remaining $1.7 million. Coming up tonight at 6, from weather myths to beach creatures, there's plenty of lore here on the Suncoast, including some paranormal activity. Myths like the shield ancient native settlers left behind to protect us from hurricanes, or a Bigfoot-like creature lurking around Myakka State Park. Well, where do these stories come from, and how much proof is there out there, both for and against them?
A long time ago, Indians put a spell on Sarasota so that basically it protects us from hurricanes.
I just turned and looked at it. We both had wide eyes, and I said, hey.
I know there's people out there that don't believe too, but, you know, how can they explain something that's walking across a video camera?
Well, now I know what I saw.
Well, coming up tonight at 6, ABC7's Adam Cellini will give us an up-close look at the tall tales of the Suncoast. All right, back to the kitchen now and check in again with ABC7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher. A delicious lunch today, Judy.
Scott, got to keep you and John satisfied. Lots of news happening. So the first thing it did is it took some nice fresh pita bread, cut it into triangles, and just laid it to just warm up slightly, get a lot softer just from that steam that's coming off those lamb meatballs. Now we have some leftover diced mint, and I have some roasted eggplant. Now I took a couple slices, I put it right on the serving plate that I'm going to use, but I'm not ready just yet. So in the rice pilaf, so easy to make. You boil the water, you follow the directions, and you add the rice in the seasoning packet. Rice pilaf was so big in the 60s and 70s, and the only time you really kind of see it around nowadays is on one of those food trucks where they have Middle Eastern food. But I'm happy to say you'll see it mainstream on your dinner tables as well. So we're going to add about a tablespoon or two of lemon zest. I have a combination of mixed Greek olives. Some do have pits, so just warn your guests, but I always like to do the combination. I think it works really well. And then I've broken up some feta cheese that we talked about came in a block, but we don't want to cut it up ahead of time. So we'll break some of that into it, stir it all up, and that's going to be the base. And then we can go ahead and lay the lamb kebabs on top of the rice. So we have all this deliciousness, and it's really married into a rice casserole almost. Then we're going to take that delicious skewer. Okay, there we go. We're going to lay it on the eggplant, the rice on top, and then let's just give this a little lemon hummus. And you can just buy that at the store. That's fine. And tzatziki is just truly one of my favorites. So I always do a little dot there. And then we'll just put some on either side of the plate because I think you always need a little something extra to dab those skewers into. So there we go. We have the pita bread is all set, so you can just run that across the plate. You can also omit the rice, make a Greek salad, and of course you can have the pita bread on the side as well. But just as this is, it's going to be really easy, and if you don't like ground lamb, use ground beef, no problem at all. You can still use all the seasonings. So I think we're just about ready to serve the guys a nice lunch.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do-it-yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Get to Sunset Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat in Sarasota for big savings on new Ram trucks. The Ram 1500 has been named a Consumer Guide Best Buy for 6 years in a row. And right now, get the all-new redesigned 2018 Ram Quad Cab for as little as $23,999. Or save big and get up to $12,400 off a new Ram Bighorn Crew Cab. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat in Sarasota.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with the family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, fishing, or biking and hiking. Or play the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy the flavors of the Black Belt. Book your adventure at our lodges or stay in the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
Keep up with the Suncoast. Watch your favorite ABC7 shows on your streaming device. Now your ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
A lot more sunshine today. It's going to feel kind of humid this afternoon as temperatures continue to rise up to about 88 degrees. I think warmer today, more sunshine around, and a little bit less rainfall as well. Not to say that we won't have any rain. I think we will give it a 40% chance of seeing some of those showers pop up. I think they'll start up maybe a little later in the afternoon and linger into the evening hours. And I think the atmosphere will tend to want to filter out the weaker storms, so perhaps the storms that do form will have some pretty gusty winds and some pops of lightning as well. And then as we head into the evening hour and the sun kind of wanes, we'll see all of that kind of dissipate away. So let's take it hour by hour, go through the futurecast here. You'll watch a couple of storms come into the picture, mostly in inland areas as we develop a nice little sea breeze this afternoon. They'll tend to die out during the evening hours, and then a cloud cover will kind of linger. Residual cloud cover won't be the best beach day tonight. And tomorrow, I think we'll see a little bit better coverage as we start to see the rain shower chances begin to increase as we head into the weekend. And that's the big question mark, isn't it, the weekend? Right now, the radar is pretty quiet. Might have one little shower popping up in Hillsborough County. This area of disturbed weather down to the south is given now a 60% chance of developing over a 5-day period, and that'll be mostly in the last days of that 5-day period. The low itself will lift north into the Gulf waters, and that's when we'll start to see some organization and some development begin to occur. It's not going to happen for the next day, I don't think, through tomorrow. Maybe on Friday we'll start to see that occur. But as long as the center of this storm is near Belize, he's trying to say, and the upper level winds are so strong, we're not going to see any development. We are seeing some explosions of thunderstorms, though, and that's a healthier sign that if this may remain intact as it lifts north. But it's pretty close to Belize, and it's certainly being influenced by landmass. High pressure today and a little bit of drier air giving us a little less rain chance, but that changes as this lifts northward into the Gulf waters and we start to see a little bit more rainfall around. So warm with more sunshine today, less rainfall this afternoon, and then the weekend rainfall still remains uncertain. Here's a European model that shows you the amount of moisture in the atmosphere from the ground all the way to the surface of where weather happens in our atmosphere. And the wetter air is the redder air. Watch what happens over the state of Florida, where today it's a little bit drier. As we head into the weekend, the system lifts northward, probably up toward the northern Gulf Coast. And this plume, this tail of moisture, this atmospheric river once again fills the atmosphere above the state of Florida, and we get some potentially heavy rainfall right straight through Monday, I believe. So we'll wait for that. The computer model's guidance still has somewhat of a spread on where it will land. Some computer models take it down toward the southern tip of the state. I'm not a big believer in those models, but it's something to watch. Mostly from the Panhandle back toward Louisiana Delta region. If we got it back toward Louisiana Delta, we'd probably have a little less rainfall. If it went up toward the Panhandle of the state, then we might get heavier rainfall over the weekend. So we're still waiting to see how that low develops, where it develops, and then the computer models to get kind of a grasp on where the center of this storm system is to be able to track its future development. Southeast winds at about 10, becoming more easterly during the overnight, catch a little bit of a sea breeze. And here's your forecast. For today, we'll look for about a 40% chance of showers and warm. Tomorrow, rain chances start to go up again as moisture begins to return. I think we'll have some heavier storms around probably on Friday, and we'll be watching very carefully the center of that system and any kind of flood watches that might be issued for our area over the weekend. And then over the weekend, I think we'll have waves of showers that'll make kind of afternoon at the beach, kind of a washout sort of event for both Saturday and Sunday, and probably lingering into Monday. I'll put first alert weather days on Saturday and Sunday as we kind of tally up the rainfall totals. And then on Tuesday, perhaps a little drier weather working its way into the forecast. Scott?
Okay, John, thank you. In consumer news, Congress passing a bill that allows you to freeze your credit for free, which can help with identity theft. This comes in the wake of last year's Equifax data breach that exposed 146 million Americans to hackers. When you place a freeze on credit, it stops credit rating companies from disclosing your personal information. The bill now goes to the president's desk for final approval. Well, if you're going on a trip this holiday weekend, you'll pay the highest gas prices in the past 4 years. The national average for a gallon of gas sits at $2.93 a gallon. That's up from about 50 cents from the last 3 years, and it's only expected to get worse before it gets better. AAA predicting most states will pass the $3 mark in the coming weeks. Fast food giant McDonald's says plastic straws may be gone for good from their restaurants soon. Shareholders will meet tomorrow to vote on a proposal to find alternatives to plastic straws. as a way to cut down on waste. This is the latest fast food restaurant working toward more eco-friendly options for customers. McDonald's has more than 36,000 restaurants across the world. Still to come in your Suncoast News, another check on your First Alert forecast and why the Hall of Fame plaque of a soccer superstar is now going viral.
Peterson Toyota of Sarasota offers hundreds of models to choose from. And now you can take your shopping experience to the next level with SRQ Plus. You'll love its added benefits exclusively at Peterson Toyota of Sarasota or toyotaofsarasota.com.
Since 2004, Embracing Our Differences has used the power of art and education to promote diversity. One way it accomplishes this is through its annual outdoor exhibition of 45 billboard-sized works of art, each accompanied by an inspirational quote. Join us in creating a community that is inclusive for all, where differences are embraced and individuality is celebrated. We invite you to celebrate the voices and visions of diversity and inclusion at this year's exhibit at Sarasota's Island Park.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Everyone's buzzing about Suncoast View.
I like watching the Suncoast View.
I like the Suncoast View. The cooking segments, I love the recipes. The theater segments are terrific.
Join Stephanie Roberts, Linda Carson, and special guests on Suncoast View for hot topics, everyday issues, celebrities, food, fashion, fitness, and everything in between. Nothing is off limits.
They're just fun.
For smart, fun talk in the afternoon, watch Suncoast View, weekdays at 4 on ABC7.
My name is Julius. I have cerebral palsy. I work for Farmer Jeffrey Weising Law Firm. I do a lot of data entry and scanning documents. I want to increase my working experience to make the company much better. At the end of the day, it's good to think of the day's work and to think about what I have accomplished.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
I'm Anne. I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me and me help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
what could be treasure.
Pal's my most advanced android. This is awesome. You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
ABC7 News at 7, weeknights.
John.
So good.
I think I need to nourish you
So
and Scott
good.
in case we have some pretty active weather this weekend.
This would do it. Recipe on our website, mysuncoast.com. Video instructions by Chef Judy is there. This is so tasty, so flavorful, so
Thank you.
filled with goodness.
Oh, I like it. Good. Then you're a happy man.
I am. Home run. Well done. Scott?
All right, thank you both. In entertainment news, Donald Glover is still #1 on the music charts, but will his newest movie, Solo, get the same love at the box office this weekend? ABC's Jason Nathanson has a preview in today's Showbiz Wrap.
Tomorrow night, Star Wars fans get to open a brand new present. The Han Solo Star Wars movie hits theaters. In it, Donald Glover stars as the young Lando Calrissian, the part made famous in the original films by Billy D. Williams. Glover tells ABC News he met with Billy D. and had a lot of questions about the character.
He gave me a really good, quick answer. He's like, I don't know, just be charming. And I don't even think he was looking at me when he did it. He was like, I don't know, you know, be charming, which was really great advice, you know, and not to overthink it.
Solo, a Star Wars story, could set box office records this Memorial Day weekend. By the way, Donald Glover, aka rapper Childish Gambino, still rules the music charts. His single, This Is America, is #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart for a second straight week. Singer Camila Cabello needed a rain check in Seattle, canceling on fans as she opens for Taylor Swift on her Reputation Stadium tour. Cabello blamed dehydration and a low-grade fever for missing the gig just a couple of weeks into the massive tour. She apparently went to the hospital after performing at Sunday night's Billboard Music Awards. It was the first royal outing for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle seen in public for the first time since their weekend wedding at a garden party for his father, Prince Charles. The soiree celebrated Charles's charitable work, one of many events leading up to his 70th birthday in November. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Finally, in San Francisco, soccer superstar Brandi Chastain has been inducted into the San Francisco Bay Area Sports Hall of Fame. But what everyone's talking about does not have to do with her skills on the soccer pitch. She was honored with this plaque, which looks nothing like Chastain. Many are calling her a good sport, literally, after seeing how the plaque turned out. The Hall of Fame now says they will redo Chastain's plaque. I mean, who is that? Who were they looking at?
No idea.
Former Secretary of State, I say.
I don't know.
Weird thing. So we have one more graphic to show you. The out-the-door weather forecast for you includes, again, some afternoon showers and thunderstorms, but it will be warmer this afternoon and there will be some more sunshine around. And don't remember, we have updated information on our app. It's a good time to download it if you don't have it, because you're going to need it this weekend. We're on social media, of course, and there's also some good commentary on mysuncoast.com from the weather department. Bob will have more on what's going to be going on down there at 5.
Okay. John, thank you. Judy,
thank you.
So much. And thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again at 5 o'clock.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do it yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
There is a great new place to shop till you drop right here on the Suncoast. I'm Joey Panic. On Suncoast View, we'll learn about the new bazaar on apricot and lime and its dozens of local vendors. Then a Suncoast designer brings dresses that go from the desk to the dance floor, all with attachable trims. It's resort-style condos in Suncoast for sale, and Muse at the Ringling joins us in the kitchen.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
About every 3 minutes in America, someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Light the Night brings together survivors and supporters to bring light to the darkness of cancer and to help fund life-saving research. Our goal is a world without blood cancers, and we're lighting the path to cures. The discoveries made in blood cancer research have led to breakthrough treatments for many cancers and other serious diseases. Help defeat the darkness of cancer. Join Light the Night today.
Dear parents, it's time for a pop quiz. What's the best kind of play for kids? Play that makes us think? Or helps us pretend? Or teaches us rules? Or to be creative? Actually, every kind of play is important because different kinds of play give us different kinds of skills. Help us mix up the ways we play. Okay, class dismissed. Now go play.
I'll be right back.
ABC7 News at 7 weeknights.